We're about to go in the gait retraining programs, and we want to talk a little bit about these first. A big thing about what we're looking to do is how can we take all the different things that somebody could do with gait that might cause increased pain or change their mechanics, and how can we group that into an efficient way that we're able to give people specific programs to get results. So we started thinking about how we can group some of those impairments that we see in gait and put them into categories that are going to be able to incorporate a lot of what we're seeing, the vast majority of that with gait. And that's where we've come up with these different programs and these gait retraining categories. So as we were designing these, we started to think about what can we change about gait that's also really worthwhile looking at. And we started thinking about, well, what goes into successful gait? People need to be thinking about their speed. We have spatiotemporal characteristics, so that might be step width or stride length. Then we have their kinematic and kinetic variables, the angle and position of their joints and the forces acting on it. And then we've got balance and stability of how well they're maintaining an upright posture with it. So these are all important. And then we started thinking about, well, level one, we really are focusing on primarily an orthopedic group. It's not that these aren't going to transfer to some of the other more neurologic or special population gaits, but we're really focusing on what we can have an impact on from an orthopedic standpoint. So as we look at speed, a lot of times we're going to see contributing factors to this might be a low cadence or aerobic conditioning. When we're thinking about spatiotemporal, a lot of what we're noticing from a deviation standpoint is that they are asymmetrical. And now they might be high or low as well, but asymmetry is a big factor in that. When we start to think about the kinematics, it's hard to measure the kinetics that we were talking about. So we're largely focusing on the kinematics, and we're seeing that this is broken into different regions. And we have different expectations for the foot and ankle, the hip, the knee, and just our overall posture that we really want to focus on. And then finally, balance and stability. A lot of contributions come from strength and proprioception. So in level one, we really want to give a lot of detail and programs that people can use for a significant amount of the clients that they're going to interact with. So we said we're going to really focus on these easiest to identify, because when we focus on the kinematics, it's pretty hard to measure some of these. So we want to focus, because if we can have people improve their speed, their spatiotemporal characteristics, and their balance and stability, that can make a big difference in their walking gait. And that's a critical factor that we really want to see. And we want people coming out of level one to be very confident in addressing these things and making a change in people's gait that has a significant value for them. So now when we talk about this, we've got these 7 programs here. And the 7 programs are key critical components of healthy gait. We've got speed and cadence, symmetry, balance, posture, foot, ankle, knee, and hip. And what we're going to focus on in level one is just those first 3 of speed and cadence, symmetry, and balance. Because like we said, if you can make a big difference in these, you're going to see a lot of impact on the clients that you're working with. In level 2, we're going to talk about more advanced concepts, and we're going to talk a bit more about the other categories and how you can have specific interventions that are focused on those different regions of the body. When we talk about these programs as we go into them, they should be matched up with the gait capacity screen. So we want to make sure that you're incorporating those mobility and stability components and foot, and make sure that you're really incorporating that into a holistic program so that we're treating the whole person. Well, what we're going to go over with each of these gait programs are drills that are specifically designed to help people realize what they're doing and what we're looking for as far as a change. And we're also going to talk about cues, things that we can tell people to make sure that they are actually making the change that we're looking for, and what they can think about and focus on so that they're able to make the change that we're looking for. Each of these programs is only going to be 2 to 3 exercises. It's something we want them to do most days of the week. And we may also want to consider some conditioning in this, because our goal should be not just to change their form, but can they do this for longer times? That's often required for community ambulation or for the activities that they want to get back to. Somebody getting back from post-surgical is really going to want to get back to doing all their activities. So we have to consider them as a whole. And this is what these programs are really going to go into. We're going to give cues for each of these programs too. And this is something that is pretty unique to these courses, because we see a lot of times these cues are ones that we're going to give you to start with, but you're going to learn more as you go. So these are cues that might resonate with some of your clients, it might not. And you're going to learn and you're going to keep learning new cues over and over. That's the fun part about working with gait clients is I am always able to really learn new cues each time I'm focusing on analyzing somebody's gait or retraining somebody's gait. I always learn something different just by asking them, what were you thinking about? Or you did a great job. What were you doing there? And they'll give me a lot of different cues. So what we're going to do to make sure you're set up for success, we're not only going to show you the drills, but we're also going to show you some of these cues that we have found to be very effective at driving results and getting people walking healthy so that they have confidence with every step.